AmandaLand, AmandaLand, AmandaLand. Good morning. Woo, good morning, everybody. How are you doing? I'm feeling a little better. How's everybody doing? I am here. I'm drinking water. I drank a concoction last night that made me feel better. Question: do we prefer glasses? No glasses today. Glasses? No glasses today. I genuinely couldn't decide. And then I said, well, I'll just ask the people. Glasses? No glasses. What do we think? Okay, okay, it's a glasses kind of day. Oh, we've got some no glasses coming in. We do, okay, okay, all right. Because I had my contacts here just in case. But we're in it. We're in it to win it. We are in it to win it. I sound better? First of all, I barely slept last night because Lando, because of his tumor, he snores like on another level. Like on another level. And he decided that he wanted to sleep with me, cuddled up with me. And I mean, like, I'm not gonna turn that down. Not turning it down. So therefore, I barely slept last night. But I also drank this concoction. That essentially my contractor, who is from Guatemala, he was like, this is what you have to do. Because I told him like all my symptoms. I was like, oh my God, like I'm just out of it. So he was like, this is what you have to do. You have to drink the purple onion with the garlic, with the, what do you call it? The turmeric, the ginger, the real ginger. Plus, you need to put lime and you need to put honey and you boil it together. And I was like, what in the Defense of the Dark Arts potion is this? I was definitely not feeling it. And then he was like, no, I'm telling you, like, this is it. So I did the concoction, and I'm not even exaggerating, y'all. I woke up this morning and it was like, I'm in a new world. This is a new life. It's a new day. And I can't even believe that concoction. Also, by the way, it wasn't bad. I know. It wasn't bad, y'all. It was, how do I put it? It's like savvy. I mean, it was like what's the word I'm looking for? Why am I saying savvy? It was like, what is the word? Why can't I think of the word, y'all? I know y'all are saying the word right now. Let me get to that. Let me look at what y'all are saying. Savory. Why was that? I guess I'm not feeling so much better. Why was that so not available to me? Okay. Well, you know what is available to me? It's Valentine. This is the Valentine's show. Okay. I know that it's a little blurry behind me. I'll see if I can find one that's not as blurry. But it's the Valentine show. So, hola. One time I interviewed this artist named Brooke Valentine. and she had to do drops. And drops is when you do like, hey, y'all, it's so-and-so, and you're listening to blah, 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 blah. And so she did her drop, and she said, what's up, y'all? It's Brooke Valentine's. And I was just like, why are we like this, my people? Why? Why are we like this? She said, it's Brooke Valentine's. God bless her. Nonetheless, I don't celebrate Valentine's Day because I'm single. Like, I know you thought I was going to say, because it is a corporate made-up marketing holiday. No, I don't celebrate it because I'm single. If I were not single, I absolutely would be like, hey, buy me something. Okay? I absolutely would say that. And I wouldn't expect like, I don't expect like big things aguan. You know what I'm saying? It's more so just like, fun things aguan when someone for Valentine's Day. Like, it's not like you're expecting like, I don't expect jewelry for Valentine's Day. Like, that's crazy. But I feel like, it could be something cute. Could be cute. Like I remember when I was with my ex, like he got me like a calendar of like wise sayings that I still use. I mean, I still have the calendar. Do we like this background? I like this background. I think it matches my shirt better. So happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And also, I just remember like Valentine's Day would make you argue. I remember the last Valentine's Day we had. We was arguing on Valentine's Day. And I remember saying to myself, we're not going to be together by Thanksgiving. And we weren't. And we weren't. Where's everybody watching us from? Where's everybody joining us from? What are we doing? How's everybody doing today? Where are we watching us from? Let me see where y'all are watching us from. Oh, man. Someone said conversation moves fast on here. Yes, it does, Alpine Azalea. You got to keep up. We're moving, we're grooving, and we're moving. Julie, you're joining us from Senegal, or you are Senegalese? Are you joining us from Senegal, or are you Senegalese? Okay, because it's a difference. Wait, are you in Istanbul, or are you Turkish? Wait, Istanbul is Turkey or Hungary? Yeah, Turkey. Julie, are you in Senegal, or are you Senegalese? Maisha Dawan Da'ai, are you Istanbul or are you Turkish? Galicia, Spain. All right, Antia. We know about Antia. Antia was like, I'm going to try and get this thing working. I'm going to try. I saw somebody else from somewhere that surprised me. Istanbul. We had Senegal, Istanbul, and then I think I saw something else. Where did I see? All right, well, it's all good. We got Detroit up in here. We got Baltimore, Denver. I see Denver has been out there really repping in terms of standing for the people against ICE. So shout out to Denver. We got Tulsa going down. We got Vancouver, Canada. All right now. We got H-Town. We got Soho. We got New Iberia, Los Angeles. We got South Kakalaka. We got Houston. We got another Los Angeles. Minneapolis. I was at the bank yesterday and they were playing Janet Jackson and I was singing along and she yells Minneapolis in the song. We got Reading, Pennsylvania, Tampa, Florida, Alexandria, Virginia, as always. We got another person watching from Spain. Love to see it. Listen, they say I'm in my cubicle in Houston. All right? I'm in my cubicle in Houston. We got Lagos, Nigeria. Love it. Dominican Republic. Are you in La República Dominicana? Or are you Dominicana? Okay? We got Melissa. Bonjour, Melissa. Bonjour. Let me tell y'all something. I went to Paris and I visited Melissa. And we had lunch. And that was when I really understood how twisted our ingredients are here. I had bread and it didn't make me like bloated. It didn't make me break out. I used to have bread and it would do all type of weird stuff to me. And she was like, yeah, because the bread here was made today with, bread ingredients, not all type of weird stuff. Man, listen, we got a lot going on here. And I don't even think we know it. I think I saw somebody saying that they're in Tokyo. Um, I mean, this just shout out to all of y'all. Now, for the record, I still feel a little crappy, but I don't feel the way I did, okay? Because I was feeling terrible. It's Lanice's first time here. Shout out to Lanice. Welcome all our first timers in the chat, y'all. Welcome all of our first timers in the chat. Yes, I am taking next week off. Absolutely. Also because I have to finish my book. My book is literally on sale. So I need to finish my book. So shout out to everybody welcoming Lanice. This is how we do here in the chat. Want to remind you all that I will be doing a free show of What Would the Ancestors Say February 7th at Lincoln Center. The meet and greet tickets will be available on Monday. So if you are marking your calendars, this is the good time to do it. I want y'all to know that I bumped my elbow like 15 minutes ago and it's still like echoing and reverberating in pain. That humerus is really, woo, that humerus is a doozy. Shout out to everybody who may have come here for the first day because of the Kendrick talk, but actually stayed, okay? But actually stayed. I appreciate you. Rock with you. You are here at Views from AmandaLand, which is your source for news and truths by any joke necessary. And I appreciate you waking up on the right side of history. Okay. Also, we got to do our church announcements. Remember, we do this Monday through Wednesday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Please subscribe. If you are here, please subscribe. Please subscribe and watch for at least 20 minutes if you can. When you're watching the shorts, that's the other one. Y'all, if you're watching the shorts, watch the whole short. It's a short. It's a short. And for anybody who missed my commentary that I used to give on Instagram, well, you can get it here. And you can get it even more if you subscribe to my Patreon. That's where I do a lot more in-depth conversations. And I'm also just a lot more candid, if you will. Okay. Also, by the way, these people on YouTube are not used to me. Someone was like, we'll take you seriously if you're not in your pajamas. Oh, honey, I'm not here for you to take me seriously. I'm here for you to take you seriously. And if you can't listen to me in my pajamas, then what are we doing? Okay. Remember to drop a seal in the chat if you like what I'm talking about. Also, if you want to really show you like what I'm talking about, you can throw up a super and support the space, okay? Throw up a super and support the space. I also want to remind y'all, though, for those of y'all who are thinking about coming to the show, wear your keffiyehs, wear your Ankara cloth, bring your flags. Whenever you come to an Amanda Seales show, you are going to be in community. And I hope that you all will make it your business to talk to people when you're at the show, make acquaintances with people, interact with people. If you see somebody off to the side that seems like they're maybe a little bit, kind of, I don't know, like they want to talk, but they, not that they're on their phone. Because if I'm on my phone, don't come talk to me. But if I'm over on the side, like I want to talk to you, but I'm scared to talk to you, come talk to me. Bring people in. All right. I want my shows. This is why I'm doing free shows, because my free shows are spaces for you to come and be a part of challenging anti-intellectualism, which is what fascism is all about, as well as being in community with people who have not just like minds, but like hearts. Okay? Not just like minds, but like hearts. So come through. All right. I do need to record the Trolls in the House song, Reese. You're right. There's some trolls in this house. There's some trolls in this house. And yeah, let's wear our masks. Let's wear our masks. Let's do that. Let's wear our masks. Let's bring that back. Okay? Let's bring that back. Our shows complement each other perfectly. You know what? I'm going to tell him. Let me screenshot this. Let me screenshot this for Mark. Okay. I'm going to tell him. The people said that we should cross promote. So check out Mark Lamont Hill's show at 10 p.m. Eastern, which is called Night School. Tickets are not needed for the show. It is first come, first serve. But you can get meet and greet tickets. And even if you don't get in the show, you will still be able to come after the show and do the meet and greets. Okay? I just came up with that on my own. I thought that was really good, right? Not just like minds, but like hearts. So we have a fun show today. We have Ernest Crim joining us, Ernest Crim III, educator, to talk about his book, Black History Can Save Your Life. So we'll talk about that. And I've also got a little dedication. I've got a little dedication to the Dems. All right. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, you know what? Let's jump off with some quick 60-second headlines. Actually, no, we need to do our word of the day. Word of the day is cachinnation. Not catchination, cachinnation. CACHINNATION. That two N's will get you. Okay? Cachinnation means loud, convulsive laughter. Like black people know about cachinnation. That's a cachinnation. Just the oh my God. Oh my God. That's a cachinnation. Yes. We already got some sentences here. Melissa said, love watching Amanda crack herself up and burst into cachinnation. Yes. Oh, is that where cackle comes from? Is that where cackle comes from? This brother that I attempted to like, but then he just showed me that he wasn't really that interested. He and I have a joke about the blackle, which is the black cackle. It's a blackle. I really wish he was more interested because I think he's pretty nifty, but maybe he's just got his own stuff going on. Here we go. I love for me and my woman to share cachinnation. I'm not about to fake laugh. Love it. Jessica said, watching the Dems try to be serious makes me burst out in cachinnation. Every time Donald Trump be on the news, Nasra says, I can't help but cachinnate. Actually, this is not the correct usage because this is using it as a verb. But cachinnation is a noun. So it would have to be like, every time Donald Trump is on the news, I have cachinnation. Yeah. Fatima said the Caucasia of this country caused much cachinnation. You ain't never lie. And let's get a good one to end it. People say my laugh is like the cachinnation of Smokey's mom on Friday. All right. All right. There you go, y'all. That is our word of the day. Let's get into some 60-second headlines. AmandaLand. 60-second headline. And I run down some news right quick.
Run it down, mama. Put us on.
All right, let's get into some 60-second headlines. It's an interesting time in this nation, people. It's an interesting time in this nation. And we are seeing a sweeping amount of not only executive orders, but bills that are coming through that we need to be paying attention on both the state and the federal level. So there is a bill that has been introduced where they are literally trying to keep wives from voting. This is the HR 22 Act. HR 22, House Rule H22, the SAVE Act. It would enforce ID rules that don't account for name changes. So what this means is that a lot of people, when they get married, they change their name, but their ID still says their maiden name. And they're saying that due to marriage or divorce or gender affirming changes, if your ID does not say the same name as the, voter registration, even though it has the same address, right? Then you will not be able to vote, because what they're trying to do, this is the Project 2025 of it all, they're trying to make it so that only the man in the house can vote. By the way, for all of y'all who was like, Amanda, that's why you need to get married. No, No. And, some of y'all make jokes about about Handmaid's Tale. However, if you watch The Handmaid's Tale or you read The Handmaid's Tale, everything that's happening right now is a lead up to The Handmaid's Tale, just so we're clear. Not in the actual book, they talk about when they took our right to abortion, we didn't do enough. When they did this, we didn't do enough. When we did this, we didn't do enough. Yeah. So we keep making jokes about it, but it's not far-fetched. So this would ban mail and online voter registration, criminalize helping others register to vote. Now, we know that there are a vast range of organizations that help people register to vote, whether it's going to their homes, whether it's bringing them to the poll, to register. This is like insane to me. Also, they would mandate extreme voter purges. So disproportionately, this would target women and communities of color. Now, this is the thing about voting. Voting is essentially, I know a lot of people are like, why does voting even matter? So in the Constitution, there is really nothing other than voting that exemplifies citizenship of the United States, because it does not clarify in the Constitution what a citizen what is a citizen. It says if you are born here, you are a citizen. In the 14th Amendment, it says that as a citizen, you should not be limited by any rules and regulations that are applied to other citizens. So it's like equal citizenship, but it doesn't lay out. And so voting has basically always been the hallmark of what makes someone an American citizen and able to operate within changing the legislation of this nation, which is what many people would say makes you a part of society. So originally, only white landowning men could vote. Only white landowning men could vote because their vision is that voting makes you a part of the direction, makes you a part of the power of this country. Yeah. So, we got Miss Latia, who said her organization held 6 voter registration events last election term. To think that could be criminalized is wild. In 2020, when I was on tour, I had voter registration at my shows. So, yes, that also could be criminalized. Tondaleo says, I feel like I should remove my money from my bank account. I keep feeling like these mothers are going to F with women's money. I don't blame you. It's very frightening. And the truth is that when Elon Musk has everybody's information, he could do that. Just so we're clear, he could do that. Voting, we always say this, right? Like Jonathan said, if voting didn't matter, they wouldn't be going after it. This is a weird country, right? Because ultimately they have this rule of law that they have to kind of be bound to in order to keep the appearance up that this is like a country that's running on governance. However, what we're witnessing right now is a gross just disregard of the rule of law. So to suggest that, they can just change things like this is crazy. Voting does matter, not on every level in the same way. Your local voting matters way more than federal voting if you are not in a swing state. That's a fact. The idea of, we're in a democracy, we're in a wannabe-mocracy. As far as the purging goes, so they do purges based on things that they just make up, right? So they'll be like, if you haven't voted in the last 2 elections, we're purging your name from the polls. Or, if you haven't updated your voter registration, even if you voted, if you haven't updated your voter registration, we're purging. They've also purged based on saying these are people who were incarcerated and been completely wrong and made complete errors, quote unquote errors, and then be like, our bad. So It's a doozy. So I want to let y'all know about things like this because everyone's going to tell you that what you should be doing is calling your representatives. Oh, I like what Drew said even better. We're in a democracy. Ooh, you better say that, Drew. If I'm keeping it honest, I don't think calling your representative going to do much. I think you need to show up. That's what I think. I think you need to show up. And I really do feel like a lot of people are, just kind of thinking if you just call. I don't know, Joni. I don't agree. I don't think calling is that important because these people don't care. So I don't think that's really doing nothing. I think they don't answer the calls. They literally ignore you and they want to pretend like it's not happening. So I don't know that calling. I think calling, if you can physically go, is kind of, that's if you can physically go, right? Some people live right by the Capitol. Some people are not disabled. So you can go. But the truth of the matter is that at this point, I think Americans think calling is the way, and I think Americans think calling is being revolutionary. I do. I think Americans think calling is like, I did my job. And I'm going to tell you now, that is not enough. And anyone telling you that's enough is lying to you. That is some BS. And you have to be making, Nasra, you better say it, please. Their version of civility is don't make me uncomfortable. Okay? So that's really that. I think it's, of course, one thing if you are disabled, if you're working sick, like I get that. But then you got other people though who really be like, I'm going to just give them a call and see what happens. That's not it. That's not it. I think we got to be all together now. All in together now. Joni, I need you to stop taking it personal. Okay? It's not all about you. All right. Now, next up, since we're talking about things we can do, let's talk about the general strike. So I know a lot of people are talking about we need to do a general strike. Okay? A lot of people are talking about we need to do a general strike. We need to shut things down. But the truth of the matter is that you don't just show up. It doesn't just happen. There has to be some level of organizing that happens in order for the general strike to take place. So what they're doing is they're having people go to generalstrike.com. Okay, go to generalstrike.com and register. When you register, you are added to the count. Now, right now, they have 232,453 people committed. They say that they need 10,767,547 people needed. Now, I'm hoping that we got 662 people watching this. There should be at least 500 more added to that number by the end of the day after watching this, okay? This is what the general strike says. So I filled it out and I said, I'm down. And then this screen pops up and it says, you are committed to the general strike, which I am. Welcome. We will strike when we have 11 million strike commits. How quickly we get there is up to all of us. What can you do today to get 5 people to commit to striking? 1, talk to people in your life and get them to sign their own strike cards at generalstrikeus.com. 2, follow and share the Instagram to spread the word and see updates. Spread the work and see updates. See you at the strike. Okay? So there you go. That is something that is being organized. that we can all be a part of. I hope everybody who is here on this chat goes to generalstrikeus.com. Remind me at the end of the show to put it back up for anyone who may have gotten here later or after, because later and after are different. Disco Kitchen, I'm sure that you can find out that the handle, I'm sure you can figure out the IG handle. I have a feeling it's at General Strike US. I'm just saying. I have a hunch. It's at General Strike US. I want to really encourage y'all to try first before you ask about things. I think that's something that we really got to work on. Okay? I think that's something we really got to work on, because we are so used to just being able to, hey, anybody, it's like, no. Thank you, Antia. Be curious. Be curious. Be curious, all right? Be curious. So generalstrikeus.com. All right. Now, another thing we got to talk about on a lighter note is that Valentine's Day is February 14th, but it is also National Bonobo Day! Y'all are like, what the hell is a bonobo? Okay, for those who've been following me on the Instagrams for a long time, y'all know that I love me some bonobos. Bonobos are my top favorite animals. We got some bonobos over here. Yes, we got a bonobo right here. Okay, we got a bonobo right here. And we got a bonobo right here. Oh my gosh. Well, you can't really see it because it's green. But bonobos are only found in the DRC. Yes, they are only found in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And I wanted to play a little video for y'all about bonobos. And I'll, of course, throw my little 2 cents in.
What's a bonobo? Bonobos are great apes, like humans. Have you ever heard of bonobos? They're found only in one place, the Democratic Republic of Congo in Central Africa. Bonobos live in the Congo rainforest, the second largest rainforest on the planet. There's so much to love about them. They are our closest non-human relatives. We share 98.7% of our DNA with bonobos. There are many similarities between us.
Look at that.
Like humans, bonobos are very social, and they love their children.
Yes.
They are intelligent and sensitive to their surroundings. They love to eat, just like us. Their diet is mostly fruits and vegetables. Kids and even adults love to play. Bonobos and humans have a lot in common. But bonobos are also different from humans in important ways.
Listen close.
They are masters of avoiding conflict.
What?
Bonobos have evolved to avoid fighting about anything. Instead, they seek social reassurance in times of stress.
Did you hear what they just said? Bonobos have evolved to not fight about anything. I'm going to run it back for you just a little bit.
Masters of avoiding conflict. A lot in common. But bonobos are also different from humans in important ways. They are masters of avoiding conflict. Bonobos have evolved to avoid fighting about anything. Instead, They seek social reassurance in times of stress. If anyone in the group is feeling stressed, someone will give them a bonobo handshake. This sociosexual method of conflict, have you ever heard of bonobos?
Just
In
so we're
charge.
clear, the bonobo handshake is scissoring.
Sociosexual method of conflict resolution seems to be at the heart of their society.
Now, this is the big thing we
Bonobos
need to
are
pay attention to.
matriarchal. The females are in charge.
Okay.
They band together to keep the peace in their group. Sharing is a way of life. Bonobos feel empathy towards others. They love to share with family, friends, and even strangers. Bonobos have a lot to teach us.
They love to share with family, friends, and even strangers. Something very unique about bonobos is that they're territorial. However, it's not in a fighting way. They're just like, this is where we at. And if another bonobo clan comes upon them, they do not fight them. They literally share with them. If they come upon them and they're looking for food, they're like, oh, we got food. We got food.
They're kind, intelligent, patient, and playful. They embody the best traits of humankind. Sadly, they're endangered. Years of poverty-driven poaching and habitat loss in the Democratic Republic of Congo threaten bonobos with extinction. There could be as few as 15,000 left in the wild. Since 1994, we've been working for a better future for bonobos. Join us. You can help save our great ape relatives and their rainforest home. Learn how. Please visit us online at friendsofbonobos.org.
Y'all, I don't play about my bonobos, okay? Now, let me tell you something that's really interesting about bonobos. So during the scramble for Africa, they had all types of people coming onto the motherland and all types of colonialists, right? And so that includes scientists. So there were scientists that came upon bonobos and they came upon chimps. And they decided, you know what? We're not going to pay any attention to bonobos because they're matriarchal. We're going to stick with chimps because they more resemble our lifestyle. So that is why bonobos are really this kind of like hidden figure in the animal world, in the animal kingdom. They are literally one of the 4 great apes: chimps, orangutans, gorillas, bonobos. They and chimpanzees share the same amount of DNA with us. And I have this weird theory, okay? I have this theory that if evolution is a real thing and we evolved from these apes, I feel like there's people that evolved from chimps and there's people that evolved from bonobos. And I'm a bonobo, y'all. I'm a bonobo. So I donate to Friends of Bonobos every month. And I really am a big believer in animal conservation as a part of our commitment to protecting this planet and protecting this earth. We are so many of us so far removed from our indigenous roots, from being able to be connected to the land. And so I find that in my ability to support people who are supporting the animals, that's a way that I can get back to being connected with the land in that way. So shout out to Friends of Bonobos and all of the folks over there in the DRC who are working to protect bonobos and their habitats. It's a little something different here at Views from AmandaLand, but it's all political. Okay, it's all political. Now, they are not in Eastern Congo. They are more in Central Congo. So they right now are not affected by the fighting, but of course they can be. You know what I mean? Miriam, you're hilarious. Amanda Chelly Bonobo in a past life. All right, now it is time for my special Valentine's Day piece that I have written. And I don't know, should I sing it or should I perform it as a poem? That's really the question. That's really the question. Should I sing this or should I perform it as a poem? I'm going to wait for you guys to give me your points of view. Y'all are so predictable. I knew you were going to say sing it. Let's see. Roses are red, Democrats are blue. What they gonna do? What they gonna... I can't do it. It's gonna take too long. It's gonna take too long. I'll give you like bits and pieces. I'll mix it up. Okay? All right. Roses are red, Democrats are blue. There are fascists in the White House. What they gonna do? Looks like a lot of talking, conjecture, and such. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said, well, we can't do much.
The Senate and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Because most are bought and paid for. And I'll tell you who they playing for. I messed up. I'm not surprised because most are bought and paid for. That's the name of the game, and I'll tell you who they're playing for. AIPAC is behind 365 members. Who needs to fundraise when Israel is your lender? Damn. Big oil and big pharma throw in a dime or two. Corporations cooperating to take the focus off of you. So here we are in exactly where we were told we'd be, because they've been talking about Project 2025 since 2023. Yet there is no plan, no cohesion, no vision, and no direction. There's no plan, no cohesion, no vision, no direction. Just folks in fancy coats talking on mics at DC intersections. I said roses are red, Democrats are blue. But the real truth is it's organizers who love you. The FDA might be playing with the bird flu, but Mask Block got the game on lock on N95s. SNAP might be snatched up, but don't wait. Food Not Bombs will have free food for the peeps. FEMA might become FENO, but mutual aid disaster relief will make sure you're good to go. You see, elected officials are supposed to be for the people. Representatives representing the interests of their constituency. But these folks ain't got no love. Shh. They'll sell out their whole city. Y'all, this Valentine's Day, when you're choosing between eggs or chocolate, remember that them Dems think they have your vote in their pocket. When you're cuddled up next to your boo saying, achoo, remember that your money keeps their insurance coming through. When you're walking down miles of red and pink aisles, remember that they do the same, keeping rank and file. So to my Dems with a spine, it's time to lean left and make it known that la 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 means we love the people. But we don't lie these hoes on a bipartisan level. There y'all have it. That is my poem for the Dems. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. You know, I've been saying for a long time, anything that you rely on the government for, You need to find out what organizations are already organized around helping provide those things for you, because they're going to stop it. And sure enough, here we are. Sure enough, here we are. So shout out to everybody who was paying attention, because it's real. All right. Now, when we get back, we're going to get into the interview with my homeboy, Ernest Crim. But first, for those of y'all who didn't know, I will be at Lincoln Center on February 22nd with my show, What Would the Ancestors Say? Our history books, it goes like slavery and then Martin Luther King. Now, if I came back down there, you got to ask yourself, would Harriet Tubman shoot me? I think about Clarence Thomas like all the time. So often, Black excellence is just opposed to white mediocrity. That our ancestors were not fighting and dying and escaping to be white. We got Nissan, we got Daewoo, but we don't have a Keisha XL Turbo. Black, black, black. You know, some folks ain't ready to be free. They're like, oh my God. My great-great-great-grandfather wasn't a good man. Ugly, nice, bad. And as it tries to pull them prongs through the neck, he feels his wrist about to snap. And then it's pop, pop. Nothing in this country for Black American people has ever been won without great loss. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Fair Housing Act of 1968, Happy Juneteenth! Here, nigga! Yeah. Black people who don't build altars on Juneteenth should be haunted. If they really wanted us in this country, we would have already been paid reparations and remunerations. There's a difference. Top cities are simply just occupation bases in your city. Yeah. Everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the face. My people, we must re-engage our empathy. People ask me, why do you care so much about Palestine? Part of the reason I care so much is because I should have cared all along. And you think that Palestine don't got shit to do with you? Black people started coming to my shows wearing keffiyehs like starter jackets in the 90s. A bridge was being built. I chose to lose to regain my integrity. Knocks me right off of my feet. Can't explain why your love, it makes me weak. Oh, the niggas. Now, I saw somebody say that Lincoln Center is in Columbus Circle in New York City. No, it is not. Okay? Lincoln Center is in Lincoln Center. It is at 66th and Broadway. Columbus Circle is at 59th and Broadway. Okay? They are different, substantially different. Because Columbus Circle is really just I mean, it's a ridiculous monument to a terrible person, but it's also just a circle. Whereas Lincoln Center is a whole bunch of buildings that make up Lincoln Center that are arts-based. So you have the New York City Opera, you have American Ballet Theater, you have the Juilliard School, etc. So as a New Yorker, I just had to really quickly correct that. I had to really quickly correct that. However, people are asking about tickets, and no, there are no tickets. It is a free show. All you have to do is just show up. Okay? Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. I would love for there to be a situation where so many people show up that they're like, well, we're just gonna have to do this again. I would love for that to happen. That would be fabulous. And that would be something that I would be very, very proud of. Yes, I don't understand. Y'all are not realizing that it's free? How many times has it said free show? Yes, it's a free show. The meet and greet ticks are a fee, but the show, baby, the show is free. F-R-E-E, yeah, yeah. Okay? F-R-E-E. So, come to the show. You get a free show as well as a free meet and greet. And I'm sorry. As well as a free Q&A, because there's a Q&A. And then after that, there is a meet and greet that requires a ticket. And the meet and greet tickets are available on Monday, February 17th. You just show up. Exactly. Adrian's like, yes. You just show up. It's free. It's at 7 o'clock. Okay? And the first 200 people get in. That's how it works. The first 200 people get in. So shout out to everybody who's putting it on their calendar to come through, because I really feel like this is a show that helps to ground us. It helps to bring like levity, but also gravitas. And the whole thing about it was I also made sure to write it in a way where it can breathe and change and shift with everything that is happening, because I knew things was going to happen. Now you can watch the first 30 minutes of the show here on YouTube. And that is from the live stream of the show that I did back in November. So I am going to be doing this show not on a live stream, but I will shoot it and I will make it available for people to watch on Patreon. Okay? Yes, Crystalina Van Aken. Broadway. So I want to also remind everybody that you can still get your bonnets from the sale that we did for this month's AmandaLand exports. I know people were really trying to get up in their bonnets, and we still have bonnets available. So the bonus bundle is available. And I really think I have a good idea for, actually, speaking of which, there'll be merch. There'll be merch available at the show on next Saturday. There'll be merch available. All right. Meg said she's ready to enter her bonnet era. The amount of white girls that are going to be wearing bonnets, I don't mind white girls wearing bonnets as long as y'all are like, I am a white girl wearing a bonnet. I know full well I don't need this bonnet. This is representing. That's fine. It's when the white girls be like, look, we invented bonnets, that we be like, no, cut it out. Cut it out. Well, I don't know. Are y'all ready for our ambassador of the week? I'm excited. Let's get into it. AmandaLand. It's the AmandaLand ambassador of the week. Hey, get it on, yo. Get it on. Get it on, yo. Get it on. Y'all, let's welcome Ernest Crim III.
Hey, what's
to the
up,
stage. Y'all? What's up, Ernest? We are in Valentine's Day mode today, just trying to be festive since
Happy Valentine's Day to y'all in advance.
Since everything is terrible, we're like, hey, how
Right.
about it?
Exactly.
How are you?
I'm great. It's always great to talk to you and see you. I'm in a great mood, regardless of everything that's going on the outside. I think I am pretty optimistic considering the context of the world burning.
Tell me more. We love to hear that. Tell me
What-
more.
You know, I mean, and this has not just started this year, this mindset. I think just being Black in America, you have had to master the art of, if you want to be sane in this country to the best of your ability, right? You know, because to live in this country is to be in a state of rage at all times, like Dr. James Baldwin says. But for me, it's trying my best to focus on what I can control in that moment. But I will tell you, because I was just speaking to a group of educators last week, shout out to Teach for America, the Chicago chapter, and the moderator asked me a question. She said, how do you maintain hope? And I had to stop for a second because I didn't know. And I literally almost broke down because I was like, yo, that's a great question. Because some days I don't have it. And I think what gives me like hope though, when I sat and thought about it, was I have to read about my people. And I think that's why I love what I do so much. And I think that's why I teach with so much ferocity and passion, because if I start my day, for example, learning about what we had to endure, even 50 years ago, 100 years ago, like it literally pales in comparison to what we're dealing with now. That's not to say that it's not difficult, but it gives me strength to say that if I can apply those principles, I can keep going, because we literally stand on their shoulders. And if we
Yeah.
understand that the job was never done, then we have everything we need to keep going and pass that baton to the next person.
So we're passing this baton. How Black history. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Hold on now.
I'm here. Oh, there we go.
No. So talk to us about the book.
Yeah, so my debut book on a publisher, How Black History Can Save Your Life, from the talk to George Floyd, everything you need to know, de-escalate a racist situation. This to me, so it starts with a hate crime I dealt with in 2016. And essentially, I'm using that as an entry point for people to understand the ways in which systemic racism impacts us as Black folks here and across the world. I, as a former classroom teacher, grew tired of learning and teaching history from, all right, we're going to start at 1619. We're going to learn about these people. Then we're going to go to this part. Then we're going to go to 1776. We learn best through stories and narratives. That's how I deliver when I speak keynotes, and that's how I deliver when I make content videos or whatever. So for this, I'm taking you through my life's journey. When I dealt with that hate crime, which I had so happened to be recording, there's a reason why I decided to fight it. And I think that when we even think about the idea of fighting, we have a very narrow view. There are times when you have to, you know what I'm saying, put fists to people and do what you do to defend your livelihood. And there are also times when you have to say, even beyond that, if we do, we have to say, well, what does that fight look like now for the duration of my life, right? Because even beyond, like this conversation you were having about voting, what does it look like to vote outside of actually going to the ballot box? So I'm taking people through a journey of when I first dealt with racism as a child, all the way up into the point where I dealt with it in that situation, to give you context of why we have to be able to have pride in ourselves to fight, and also understand the context of racism. I'm going from the age of 6, when my mother was told by a white teacher at a white school I was bused to that I was bad. And my mom interjects by saying, have you read Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu's Conspiracy to Destroy the Black Boy? My mom didn't play. You see what I'm saying?
She said, happy Kwanzaa, what?
And she offered to give her a copy of the book. Just buy the book, you'll see what I mean. So, but it's for Black parents, it's for Black folks in community that are activists, it's for educators, it's for white folks, other people of color, so that we understand what we're going through, so that we can interject and also help create a better system.
Was there anything that shifted, like a perspective that shifted while writing this? Any perspectives that changed?
From my angle?
Yeah, like I feel like when you're writing something, sometimes you, in the midst of writing, are like, oh, well, hold on now. Because as I'm writing my book, I've had to do a little bit of that.
It is one of the most therapeutic things ever, right? Especially when it's about your life, because I will say, I mean, I was driven to write the book, not just because of the hate crime, but, you know, for people who follow me, 7 months later, I had a breakdown. I had a breakdown on the way to work, working in an environment where I was one of a few Black males dealing with this, going to court every few months and just not feeling accepted, you know? So I would say that I realized that I was traumatized more than I thought. Because I got frustrated when people would interview me, especially white folks, and they'd be like, so first off, we're so sorry this happened, and, you know, blah, 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 and this is just horrible. I said, that's horrible, but do you know where I grew up? Like, y'all don't have no sympathy.
Where did you grow up?
On the south side of Chicago. Like, come on, man. There's no food there.
There's no food there.
The Walgreens shut down. It's a Dollar General. It's a Harold's Chicken. It's a liquor store. You know what I'm saying? That's more harmful to me than somebody calling you the N-word or spitting on you or something like that. So I think I was just able to realize that the degree to which we are traumatized in this country without the context and the words to be able to give truth to power. And that empowered me, because especially, you know, Amanda, like between the 80s and 90s, I feel like we forget that in Black history. We stop, like we do Dr. King.
You know, I talk about this all the time.
Right. We talk about the Panthers a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And then we just like jump to Obama. we talk about Rodney King a little bit too. Then we jump to Obama. Then we're like, well, everything's better. Nah, there's a lot more to talk about. And I have all my reflections on that too.
How do you feel like parents, or not even parents, how do you feel like we as a community in this very hostile environment that is making it its business to suppress and quiet and silence and eradicate history and truth, how do you feel like we as communities can show up in practical ways to just curtail this and rise above that?
Yeah, we do that by realizing that, look, y'all, this public education system has not existed that long. Okay, let's give some context, right? When we talk about some of our great leaders, a lot of them didn't even finish middle school. You know what I'm saying? School as it is now hasn't even existed as a requirement for people for the most part to kind of go through high school. We ain't talking about even like a 100 years or so. Somebody fact check me, but I know we're not that far off from that. So that means that for the majority of time we were in here, we think about folks like Frederick Douglass and, you know what I'm saying, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who had to fight tooth and nail to get an education. It wasn't just a requirement for them to be matriculate through that system. So I think when we give ourselves that perspective, when I read Frederick Douglass's autobiography in college, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I like wanted to take this path, because I'm like, I'm in one of the top public schools in the country, and this dude sound way smarter than me. He ain't got a degree. So somebody lied to me. They made it seem like you get this degree, you on this path, you super smart. No, Frederick Douglass was way more intelligent than most folks that, you know what I'm saying? So I think we have to understand, what does it look like? And it's difficult in capitalism, but how do we teach this at home? I'm gonna give you an example. My kids go to a pretty diverse school in terms of the student body. The staff is not, right? I recall when my kids first started going to that school, I emailed the principal like, yo, what's going on with Black History Month? What are you all doing? Can you believe, this might be the next book I write, right? Because parenting now, because I'm a parent. The other stuff was childhood for the most part. This white principal says, well, we don't want to like alienate the other cultural groups, so we don't just celebrate, you know, Black History Month. We don't celebrate any of the months. We just have the teachers.
We're in the United States. We're in the United States.
It's like,
if we were in Mexico, I would not feel alienated if they were celebrating, you know, the Mayan History Month.
Exactly.
We're in Mexico.
Exactly. So I took it upon myself to say, you know, and my mom did this a lot too. I learned a lot of Black history at home first. So I started taking my kids out of school certain days. I would take them out to come see me present sometimes. Sometimes I would speak at schools about Black history, and I would have them either watch, especially if I was speaking to young kids, or I would have them participate in skits sometimes, right? I would take them out of school. When I got a chance to speak with Colin Kaepernick at his camp, I took my kids out. Here's the option. You stay in school for a day on this Friday, do the same stuff you always doing, or you meet Colin Kaepernick and see him speak.
Yeah.
I don't care if y'all excuse the absence. I'm taking you out. You know what I'm saying? So like, for example, this year, what I decided to do is, since I have a larger platform, I want to extend that invitation to people and just kind of model what we do. So on February 27th, for the people that's in the Chicago area, I'm taking my kids out and some other folks and other close friends and family. Like, we're going to the DeSable Museum during the school day. We ain't waiting to Saturday. We're taking time out, because for a lot of these kids, they ain't learning nothing the whole month, or they might learn some little facts without any added context. So parents, take your kids out sometimes for education. You know what I'm saying? And if you are not in the Chicago area, I got a lot of folks who follow me in New York, Philly, LA, Houston. Like, take your kids out the same day.
Yeah.
Go to a local Black History museum or site. And we have to begin that practice. We're going to take some field trips together in person and virtually. If you want to do it in the Chicago area, check out my Instagram, Mr. Crim III. I got a sign up link in the bio.
What would you say is a needed shift in how we are approaching how we teach Black history now, if any?
Yeah, I'll start with Dr. John Henry Clark. If you start your history with slavery, everything after will seem like an improvement. You know, like, you can only become a better slave. I'm sorry. You know, if you start your history with slavery, the only thing you can become is a better slave. So I think we have to start with something broader. We have to understand that we are connected. We are in this diaspora of Africanness, of Blackness. And if we're talking about let's just say the last 400 years or so, 400, and let's just say in the span, let's say 4,000 years ago, you know, ancient Kemet, what was going on in East Africa, West Africa. Think about how small of a percentage that is that we focus on. So when we talk about our ancestors, we have to be clear that we're not just talking about the folks who were enslaved and persevered, but we also talking about the folks who lived at a time when they did not even have to think about or conceptualize race or an ism. They had struggles too, like all people do, but it boggles my mind when I sit and meditate sometimes, or I'll ask an audience, like, what does it look like for Black people to not have to focus on racism? And I can't even conceptualize it, because I've never had it, but our people did for the majority of our existence. We got to start there.
Well, that's what it's like being, having the duality of being Grenadian and American. Because when you're in Grenada, that's not a thing. It's not a thing. I remember my good friend, she was visiting in the States, and she was at a convention in Tennessee. And while she was at this convention, all of a sudden, Donald Trump was now coming to the convention. And she said the entire energy of the convention changed because this man was coming, and all these MAGA folks started showing up. And she was like, it was the first time I was ever aware of my Blackness. And I just said, I have to call Amanda because I've never thought about it until this moment right now. And she said that this Black guy came up to them and was like, it's good to see other Black folks here. And she was like, oh, yeah. And he was like, go MAGA. And she's like, oh, God. Honestly, Ernest, one of the things that irks me is I feel like and you kind of alluded to this earlier, just in terms of, it's like it all stopped after the Civil Rights Movement. Like, we don't have any heroes of movement after the Civil Rights Movement.
Right.
We have heroes of artistry and heroes of industry.
Yes. Go
ahead.
Can you, it hurts me to say this as a Chicago.
What's going on in your house?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Do I have to turn something down?
No. I want to hear. I just want to know.
Okay, no, it's a snow day. Look, let me tell y'all. Look, I'm sorry to go off track. I got 4 girls, okay, between 2 and 11. It's a snow day and snow ain't dropped yet. The other 2 days, my oldest daughters had school off because somebody went and jacked the catalytic converters from 80 to 90% of the buses. The morning after the Super Bowl. I'm just, so it's been a week, but I'm still smiling. So if y'all hear some lullabies, and
I'm just like, it's
Miss
popping
Rachel,
over there. I'm like, bring the camera. Where are they at? I'm hearing songs.
This mic picking up everything. So I was saying, like, as a Chicagoan, it pains me to say this, but when I think about the impact that, let's call it, Jordan, with the Jordanomics, or the branding of Jordan had on our society, I can't help but think about how that was all intertwined contextually with Reaganomics and crack in our community and Jordan being drafted and the individualism, right? If you ask Black kids 50 years ago, they probably won't say, I want to grow up and be a basketball player. That is still ingrained in our boys today. It's either athlete or maybe now they would say an influencer. I think that we have to really dissect the impact of individualism in our society too, because I've had to check myself. We often uplift the individual accomplishments of people, or the first one to do something, and I get it, but
I hate a Black first. I can't stand a Black first.
And it's like, okay, like
they just said, like, the first Black woman coach won the Super Bowl. I was like, oh.
Yeah, right. And it, for one, it makes it appear as if we never had the ability to do that thing. And also, too, like,
wait, hold that.
Yeah.
It makes it appear as if we never had the ability to do that thing.
It's like, yo, we held you down. We held you down on purpose, and somehow you broke through. Congratulations. You know what? Somebody, when we think about, okay.
When you hear me say that in my show, you can be like, I said that on her show.
Yeah. When you think about even, let's say, again, Obama, and I'm just talking about the representation aspect, not the political point, but he wasn't the first qualified Black person, right, to become the president. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, Frederick Douglass, Harry, we go back, right? It's Jackie Robinson. He wasn't before. He wasn't the first. He was the first in the 20th century, but he wasn't the most qualified. He wasn't even he was a great player, but he wasn't the best. He was the one they knew that could put up with stuff a little bit more, So I think that's a perspective. If we're going to give a first, we got to give the context of not just why, but also too, what community effort led to that creation? What organization helped King and Rosa Parks do what they do? What King went to all these, he was from Atlanta. He was organizing in different places, not just because of him. He had the voice. They were organizing on the ground. They wanted him because how he could speak and how he was in order. So I think we have to give truth to power. And we also have to say, if we're going to say the first, give the perspective on the individual side. This is the first that we know of here, but not the first in our history. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about like the doctors and stuff, we know we were doing this already. And even in African societies, you are hard pressed to find a lot of labels of the first, because that's not how we operated as a culture. It wasn't, you did it first, let's give you a Hall of Fame shrine. It's no, this is for the collective, bruh. Yeah. And I mean, but yeah, like the 80s really, I think, hurt us and harmed us more than we think. And for a lot of folks out there, if you have ever seen Crack, I think is a documentary on Netflix, it can give you the visual imagery of what I mean.
I thought you were ending at the word crack, like if you ever seen crack, and I was like, I have seen crack. She's talking to me. I have seen crack. I did see the documentary though. Yeah, I was literally standing at the train station. I looked over and this dude was just smoking crack next to me, and I was like, up, buddy, come on, man. Yo. And he looked at me like I was here first.
Yo, let me tell you this though. Like this is why we have to not just study history, but like study local history. So the town I live in now is about 45 minutes from Chicago, and I came across this book that was out here. It was called the Brown Book, and it was a list of every Black-owned business in that area in the 50s and 60s. So me being a historian, the content creator, I say, oh, I got to find out where those buildings are now so that I can maybe just do some content there. I go over there and I start looking up the numbers and get to a point in time where I see a bunch of empty lots and then the numbers run out. And when you look directly to the left of it's called Chicago Street in Joliet, Illinois, you see none other than a adult detention center, aka a euphemism for a jail. Yeah. So in the 70s, right, Great Migration, Black folks are coming here. You see a wave of Black. So most of the Black folks who lived out here were working at Caterpillar, factory jobs and stuff like that. So that's the clientele for the Black-owned businesses. The policies of the 70s and 80s outsourced those jobs to other countries. Black folks are then losing jobs, and then what comes in the place of those jobs? We get drugs introduced in our community. Yes. So now people are selling drugs to survive and become street entrepreneurs. And then by the end of that very decade, that adult detention center is created by 1989. That's how this system works. Yep. And that's the 80s and the 90s. And that's what we're still fighting, in addition to Jim Crow, in addition to the legacy of slavery. Yeah.
Now, just a side note, Laurel said that she got mugged for knocking crack out of a dealer's hand in San Francisco. Now, Laurel, you asked for that. Yeah. Okay. You asked for that.
You got to be careful out there now. Listening to too much of Nancy Reagan. I know Nancy
Reagan. Domestic violence, break it up. Yeah, I mean, break it up. A woman getting hurt, break it up. Drug deals, y'all got it.
Yep, I ain't seen a thing. Hey, that's my ride over there. Matter of fact, I'm about to head out.
That's my ride. All right, now I am very specific about how I want people to address y'all when you come on my show, because I am from the Caribbean and I'm old school, and I'm like, please address the guests as Mr. Crim. So understand, I'm not going to ask him your question until you put Mr. Crim. All right. Also, this is a part of my effort to really get us in the habit of following directions, reading. Okay. Following directions and reading. It's not like I'm leading you down a garden path. But side note, we can't have a movement if people can't follow directions. Okay. Crim, Ernest, Mr. Crim, I told these folks I had a free show 3 times in the show. It wasn't until the 3rd time that they was like, the show is free? Come on, man.
I mean, it's the same thing when you post content, right? And you have everything in the caption, right? Everything in the video. Somebody say, well, where can I get it? Where's the book?
They know here I don't play. Don't ask no dumb questions over here. Google.
Sure.
All right.
Real.
Ev Story says, Mr. Crim, what are some ways to bridge differences between different communities, i.e. Black and Asian communities? I feel so many Asians have been so brainwashed by whites that they're so lost. Side note, this week, my podcast, Small Doses, has side effects of anti-Asian hate with Dr. Connie One, and she actually talks about this on the show.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that just like with any community, this type of stuff is allowed to survive and fester because of intentional segregation. I think the design of the system is for us to see that or believe that we have, more differences than things in common. I think that for one, I don't like to spend time trying to convince people to work with me or my humanity. I'm not doing
I preach
that.
to the choir.
Yeah, so you got to meet me halfway. I mean, when Malcolm X was connected with Yuri, and I forgot her last name off the top of my head. I don't know if you all are familiar, but he organized with a Japanese American woman who was formerly incarcerated in the internment concentration camp. I think it's Yuri Kachiyama. He did not have to convince her, right? When she was coming to his lectures and she found out about him, she reached out to him. I think that if you are in community or spaces with any Asian folks, or close to you, you just have to kind of, if you want to expend that energy, provide those examples. I mean, look at what, Fred Hampton did with the Rainbow Coalition. There are a lot of Asian American folks here who are organizing. I'm in community right. Some of my close friends, because they are aware of this already. I'm organizing with some folks in California with the Reparations Task Force, and there are Japanese Americans on that task force who are trying to help out because they had success with reparations.
Yes.
So yeah, we can't be blinded by the media. The media will tell you that Asians are against us, Latinos are against us, and it's just not the case. Every community, not every Black person is for us. I'm not about to waste my time,
sir.
You know what I'm saying? And I would tell you, that's when you talk about tough realizations that you have while writing a book or just in life. That was one of the things that's always the toughest for me. Is man, all of us really ain't for us. If for the people who saw the hate crime video, y'all, the woman who did that to me and my wife, she was with two Black folks who were defending her. They were right there. They weren't in the background. They were there, building a bridge to stop us from potentially jumping over there. So we have to just be able to meet people where they are. And if you are in a larger city, this is easy. Find ways to connect with communities that are already doing the work.
The building a bridge thing is so real. I feel like my shows are bridge sites, right? So I feel like I've been able to get different folks come into my shows now, and I want people at my shows to connect with each other at my shows. If you come to Amanda Seales show, you should leave meeting somebody that you didn't know before. Particularly look for the person that you would never talk to and talk to them, because both of y'all ended up at Amanda Seales show. I'm not a pop star, so there's no generalness here. It's a niche space.
Well, no, I got to interject. You're pretty amazing though. I know you might not say you a pop star, but you're.
No, I'm just saying pop is very general. It's very generic, I'm just gonna sing this thing. Pop is I'm gonna sing a song about mustard. And who don't like mustard? I'm not gonna come to the show because I hate mustard. But mustard.
I had to explain that to my mom. My mom said, "Why was he screaming mustard?" And that's to go too far. But look, check it out. Because I screenshotted his name and whatever to my mama, said, because that's the DJ's name, Mom. But I said, dang, his first name is Dejan. I ain't ever know his first name was Dejan.
Hilarious.
Ain't
his
that
first
crazy?
name is Dejan.
His first name is Dejan.
That's why he's DJ Mustard.
I would imagine from the hood somebody was roasting him, right? Boy, your name Dejan. Mustard head.
Oh, mustard face ass. That's brilliant, actually.
Ain't it? But really, to what your point, if you follow somebody who has a significant following, if you look in the comments for people who support, you'd be surprised. I'll be surprised at the number of white folks that be following. I'll just be, kudos to y'all.
The white folks be up in these comments,
they
okay?
do.
The Blacks, the whites, and we got a real global representation here. This is why I like this better than Instagram, by the way. Leah Jackson, let me just tell you, Leah followed instructions because she had written a question, and then I said it needs to be addressed to Mr. Crim, and she said, let me come back now and hit you with the correction. Okay, Mr. Crim, I'm starting an online Black History class for community, friends, and family who want to learn. Oh, I think your question got cut off. I have my ideas to start, but what would you recommend to consider?
So if you are starting an online class, consider who you want to be involved. Do you want it to be online for your immediate community, or do you want it to be online for because again, the internet is global. I have an online K-5 class that we meet about 3 times a month, Monday evening. And it's kids all over the country. About 30 plus kids come online. A good portion in Chicago too, but like because my videos go everywhere, people from anywhere can join it. So I think you have to think about where you want to organize it at. So if let's say you are from Atlanta, do you want to organize teachers? I'm sorry, at the local schools or parents at the PTA meetings and stuff like that? I think that's the most important thing because that can kind of drive your curriculum. If most of the people are local, I think your Black history should focus on that local lens, because that was one of the issues I had about teaching in the class. I'm teaching kids in the hood. I'm teaching, poor Black, white kids, Hispanic kids. And we only talking about presidents and war. What about what happened here in your community at that exact same time? Kids need to know how that impacted them then and what they can do to change that community. So location, and then figure out what is the curriculum for? What are you trying to change? I'm a project-based teacher because I want to give kids here. This is the fact, but this is why it matters. I'm not just giving you Lonnie Johnson invented the super soaker. Why does that matter? Okay, let's talk about that. It's not just the accomplishment, it's the creativity behind it that can drive a further invention for you today. So I think those are the two main things I will consider. If you got any more questions, hit me up. info@ernestcrim.com.
Tell me more about the K-5 class.
Yeah, so I actually started that during my last year in the classroom because I had some parents reaching out to me online asking for private tutoring and stuff like that. And I was like, yo, I spent a year and a half teaching over Zoom for the school district, making crumbs or whatever. I could do this on my own and make a little bit more. So, and also too, I think that I've always thought about the concept of creating a school, but I just don't really have a desire to create a brick and mortar. I think that this is just where we are. And I think it's a great way to connect with different people. Also, the fact that most kids won't have a Black male educator. We are 1.3. When I started teaching in 2010, it was 1.7. When I left in 2022, it was 1.3. Dang. So it's not getting better. Right. I just decided, and I don't promote it that much, honestly, because I don't for the most part, want it to get super big beyond the community I have there. But we, instead of just teaching kids chronological Black history, I teach K-5 kids Black history through books. So we read a book each month, sometimes two. We spend the first half building community, playing, joking around, playing this or that games, having them talk in groups. I spend the whole first semester, so September through December, we don't even talk about slavery. We read African history books. I don't even want kids to even think that that's the only thing. Yeah. We just started talking about slavery now in this February. We just started.
Got there.
And for my class, you know what I'm saying? It ain't even we talking about slavery and Black History Month, but it's really not that. We talking about slavery in my class. Yes. And even and every time for the person that asked that question, for any time you talk about the trauma we face, you got to give kids the counterpunch. Who fought against it? What groups fought it? Don't just be 1619. No. Okay. I taught my kids this past week. 1619 happened. And then in Virginia in 1687, they outlawed Black folks having, they call them slave funerals, because Black folks were planning revolts at these funerals. So they would go to these funerals, so-called funerals, and they're planning to fight back. Any and everything is for liberation. We couldn't play drums. We could, you know what I'm saying? Because we were fighting back constantly. So don't ever have our kids think that we were just passive participants.
We've got another question for you. How do we heal from so many ugly? I think you just gave one example. How do you heal from so many ugly racist incidents that happen during the course of our lifetime?
Yeah. Well, we do stuff like this. We create community. I think you provide a great model for that too with Patreon, having private communities. I would say that I gave a talk about this recently. So I would say the first thing we got to do is realize that this happens in a broader context. We're not alone. There's a quote that says, nothing's wrong with you. Something happened to you. So just remember that there's nothing when you see Bronzeville, Chicago, when you see Tulsa, Black Wall Street, when you see the Harlem Renaissance, you got to understand, literally bootstrapped. We didn't get anything. So think about the broader context of what we dealt with and how you're not alone. Then I would say also, you have to find a way to, I would say, self-metabolize that trauma. So what can you do on an individual basis that helps you out? For me, it helped to write. I think that's also one of the reasons I like to speak, because honestly, I've been doing that for 8 years now about my incident. And every time I do it, I unleash another some more baggage that was on me. It helps to teach people. Yeah. And I could be expressive with it. I can be artistic with it, and I can express how I truly felt in that moment. For some people, another thing I like to do, I like lifting weights. I mean, like for me, if I can lift that heavy weight, I can get this weight off my back, transferably.
If I can
It's a lot. I
lift
mean,
that weight.
touch grass, go outside. And lastly, be in person with community with people.
Yeah.
But also too, if you can get therapy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Good old therapy.
Yeah.
Last one. Mr. Crim, how do you feel about the Hispanic movement over the deportation and border issues? Remember, border is BORDER, and how the Black community responds. I feel both communities should be allies and ride or die. Fair. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't get into this. Well, they don't. I just don't have. I don't know, y'all. I don't.
Isn't it silly?
I'm not. As a Black man, I will never debate somebody's humanity and go tit for tat. Well,
I'm not doing it.
If they would,
it sounds crazy.
It's lunacy. It sounds like a white supremacist.
It really does.
That's what it does.
When I see Black women doing the whole like, I'm in the 92%, I'm like, you sound like a dumb fool, because you're 92%. All you did was really just say, okay, we're going to uphold an establishment that's never cared about 92% of us. They've never cared about you ever.
And that's the thing too. Even thinking back to that previous question, we have to be proactive with the self-care, because as long as this system exists, we're going to be traumatized. It's going to happen. We have to be able to find ways and to build strong bonds together. So like when I see what's happening to the Latino community, I'm not looking at some of the folks that maybe voted for Trump who, again, y'all, we're citizens here. I got people in my comments telling me they voted for Trump. I said, y'all, undocumented folks can't even vote. They ain't even vote for this. Like, what are we talking about, y'all? And we have to like really, again, step outside of our boxes, live where you want to live, but try to connect with other people. I've taught at a school for 10 years that was primarily Hispanic. So I talk about this in my book. During the first term, when Trump was running, I remember that day after he won, I had a large population of undocumented kids. I had kids crying in my class, y'all, crying in my class. I have to change everything in my curriculum to teach. I don't care what color the person is. I have kids whose parents were taken away. You know what I'm saying? So although I have to, of course, be concerned with what impacts me immediately in my vicinity as a Black man, that is something I'm still concerned with. And that's why we can't beat this alone. Like none of us, we build our communities and what we fight for, and then we join hands and we fight together.
And I think for me, that's one of the differences that I would say we have to include in how we teach about Black history in the present, because I feel like a lot of the Black history that we learn about is taught in a very siloed fashion, as if there weren't other communities that were assisting and aiding in the work that was being done, and it's not to take away from the leadership of Black folks or from the groundswell of Black folks, but I think it really is important to note that yes, there were white people that was in the Freedom Rides. There were Jewish people that were in the Freedom Rides. That yes, there, like you said, Fred Hampton and the Rainbow Coalition, there have been interconnectivity. Like these silos are only created and upheld for the purpose of us not banding together, which it'd be sounding like kumbaya, but it really isn't. It's just the reality. Like
it's common sense. Like
because listen, whiteness is really just, okay, we decided that we'll make this thing that kind of it's an umbrella over our ethnicities, because over there in England, y'all, Irish and English is not the same. They not looking at each other like you white and I'm white. They like, you are English, get off of our island. Okay. And I don't think people over here really understand that. Over here, this whole white thing is a thing that is made up, and it's not real. And as us, and as we exist in this time, we also have to understand that, like, during the Civil Rights Movement, there wasn't immigrants in the same way there are now. There wasn't an onslaught's not the word. There wasn't a flow of migrant workers from Central America and from Mexico in the same way that there are now, because America has destabilized, the United States has destabilized all these places for the past.
Exactly. And check this out. When people say like they're literally parroting white supremacist points, saying that they're coming here to take our jobs. That's why they deported Mexicans in the 30s. They deported them in the 1930s, citizens and people who were undocumented. And guess who still didn't get jobs? Black people.
Same.
FDR, they did all of that, and they passed a new deal for white people. That's why A. Philip Randolph was about to plan a march on Washington. Like, if you are saying kick them out so that we can get what we got, you're saying that this country will, for the first time ever, prioritize Black people. And you got to come on, be real.
I appreciate you for always being real. I always give our ambassadors of the week the opportunity to speak directly to the people and give them a message. So I'm going to take myself off camera, and it is time. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Ernest Crim to talk to the.
All right, what's up, y'all? So check this out. First off, I appreciate you all for being in the community today, this morning, this evening, whenever you're watching this. I got to first give Amanda flowers. I don't know if a lot of people notice, and I say this every time I talk on her platform, but my TikTok was popping at one point. My Instagram wasn't. And because of people like her, people like DL Hughley, Monique, who are like reposting my stuff, the platform grew. So I'm forever grateful
their names
for her.
Here. We don't see DL Hughley here. He does not live here. We do not say DL Hughley's name here.
All right, I got you. So for people like her, we have to make sure we uplift artists who are using their platform for activism as well. And with that said, y'all realize that everything that we want to do and have to do already is within us. It exists in our history. Study the greats from the past. Study what they did. We have a better opportunity to organize and create now because of what they did back then. From my perspective, we have to take back our responsibility of educating our kids. When we educate our kids correctly, what do? We can help restructure their imagination and how they view themselves. If we can put better images in their head, they can better imagine what their future looks like by acting right now in the present. So you can, of course, purchase my book, How Black History Can Save Your Life, to talk to see how you can strategize this more, but then also join me on a field trip. Y'all, we talked about the general strike on here previously before I came over here. Let's start to take our kids out of school occasionally to educate them the way they need to be. And the last thing is I have a free Black History Month curriculum on my site. Go to my IG at Mr. Crim III or ErnestCrim.com. Thank you all for being here today. It's a pleasure as always. I think I'm good. I still got time, so check this out.
Thank you so much. Y'all make sure you support and get you How Black History Can Save Your Life, from the talk to George Floyd, everything you need to know to de-escalate a racist situation. And if you are like, what do you mean the talk? That means that you need to buy it first. If you don't know what the talk means, we're not referring to the birds and the bees. So that means you need to go there, get the book, go to Ernest Crim. You can get it at ErnestCrim.com /shop,
Yep,
right?
Yep.
Last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How difficult or how easy was it for you to write this book?
Ooh, easy, because I tell you, I look at it like, how when people would say their first album was like they classic, they pinnacle, because they put their whole life into it. That's how I felt. The hardest part was just getting started. I promised myself, I started in March of 2017. I said, I got to finish it by the end of 2018. I wrote every single day. I used my phone, the note section, sometimes to just add little sections. I wrote an outline for it. I was working full time at the time. And I say all that because having all those structures in place, I only was able to write during a certain time,
Right.
So it was easy from that perspective. You've done this before though. So
Stop yelling at me.
I'm sorry. I'm just stop wasting time.
Stop yelling at me. Yo, my book is on sale. The book is not done. Ernest Crim III.
Ooh.
The book is due in final form on March 10th.
Oh man.
So next week, I have to take a week off from this show to get well, because I've been sick for the past week, and also so that I can write. But I will let y'all know.
Yeah.
I did figure out, because I needed to write a chapter on relationships. And I didn't know how I wanted to address it.
Yeah.
But I figured it out last night around 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Because I drank this concoction, Ernest Crim,
Who was you
to try. My Guatemalan contractor, Henry, our
Uh-oh.
Guatemalan king, he put together this concoction and he was like, drink this at night. You will feel better.
You were drinking some of that stuff that what they call that?
Ayahuasca?
Oh,
No.
yeah.
But it was like onion, garlic, like all these random things.
Oh.
But it actually didn't taste bad, but it makes you pee. Like I just kept I had to go to the bathroom and I was just like, it's done. It's done. But I say all that to say that I'm gonna write this, but I was hoping you would tell me it was hard so I could feel good.
Nah,
you got it was easy.
Nah, it's easy. It's easy. Because I think the toughest part for me, honestly, is minimizing some of the information. Like because this is a re-release, right? Because I self-published this first.
Yes.
I had to take out like 90 pages, y'all. That hurt my soul.
Editing is
Yeah.
Editing is my jam, though. I'm not precious. I'm like, get this out of here. But I will be reading a draft chapter of my book tonight in Brooklyn at a space called Super Duper Fresh. So it's about process. So I'm going to read the chapter and then I'm going to read the notes that the editor gave. And then, we'll talk about that. But I commend you, brother, as always. Do you see yourself writing any more books?
Oh, yeah. I see, again, the problem is, what should the next one be? I got like 5 ideas in my head in my notes section. It's just about what I think we need next. And of course, I'm on contract too. I got to write something, but but I'm ready. It's just about what do we need? And I think I'm ready to deliver that. And it won't be 350 pages like my first self-published book was. I'm gonna get it in and out.
Oh, this book is gonna be, my chapter on my nervous breakdown is 16,000 words, single spaced.
Oh, you go. Oh man, I can't wait to read this. So when is the tentative release date?
I don't know. It's October.
Oh yeah. Okay, we getting it. Okay.
Yeah, it's October. It's called Body Waving Through the BS.
Oh yeah. Do you have to go away sometimes to write and clear your mind? Or do you just kind of where you are, just write?
I would love to do that. Pero, that's just not where we at. I ain't got no money right now.
Yeah.
Ernest Crim. I ain't got no money right now.
Yeah.
We got 9 more days for my house to sell in California, y'all.
You got it.
We in escrow. 9 more days, y'all. 9 more days. Ernest, it's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And thank you so much for being so committed to the people and for being a real one all the time. You know what I mean?
Right back at you.
Because that's really what it is. I think for those of us who be on these internets, we see so many people switch side, which is why I said we do not say that man's name over here. He is a paid coon. We do not allow it. And it's really just... For me, it's really encouraging to see folks that I know have the brain power, also have the heart power.
Yeah. Hey, real recognize real. You know what I'm saying? And again, those who know, some of y'all started following me because of some of your posts. So, hey, I got you. Whatever I can do, let me know.
I appreciate you. Y'all go to ErnestCrim.com and get the book. Black History Can Save Your Life. Thank you, Ernest. All right, y'all. Right. Well, we are here. The show is almost over. We've been here for dang near 2 hours. Okay. We've been here for dang near 2 hours. Want to let y'all know real quick. We were talking about bringing together communities. If you haven't checked out Small Doses
Asian
podcast,
violence is colonization. Anti-Asian violence is also the deportation industrial complex. Anti-Asian violence is the refugee experience.
Right.
Anti-Asian violence is the disparity in wealth. It's the lack of language access at the hospital. Those are forms of anti-Asian violence that this country and its legislation does not counter, is not interested in fixing, but it is going to be interested in hate crime legislation. That hate crime legislation is typically going to expand policing and legislation. That also means further criminalizing communities. It's not freeing anybody. It just adds power to the police state.
So Dr. Connie One has joined us here on Views from AmandaLand, and she was on Small Doses podcast and really just dug in, on what anti-Asian hate is and also kind of what it isn't, and the ways in which that doesn't mean that you can't be in support of and be in community with other groups. So shout out to Dr. Connie One. We love Dr. Connie One over here at the Views from AmandaLand show. Shout out to my AmandaLanders. I said that I was going to remind you, General Strike, go to generalstrikeus.com. Okay, go to generalstrikeus.com. And I think it's time for us to get into a public seals announcement, guys. Let's do it. AmandaLand. PSA. The whites are about to act up. I'm seeing the whites acting up. I'm seeing them throwing the N-word around real loose. I'm seeing them with their guns. I'm also seeing folks suggest that we don't need guns. And I think there's something to be said for me repeating once again my vision that there is a multi-pronged approach to resistance. And maybe you're not that kind of person, okay? Maybe you're not the one who's out here throwing the fists. Maybe you're not the one that's out here with the blicky. However, I don't feel like that should be something that we are against. The reality is that this is a place that was born and exists on violence. Period. Any so-called advancement in this nation has been because of the actualization or the threat of violence. Period. That's not an exaggeration. That's not me trying to incite violence. That's not hyperbole. It's unfortunately the reality. And Dr. Martin Luther King, when he was coming through with the passive resistance, he was trying to appeal to the morality of the oppressor. And when he talked about the feeling like he had walked us into a burning house, he was saying because he realized that America had no morals. He was trying to bring Black folks into a place that they deserved to be in. However, that place is a cesspool. And that's when he started to realize, dang, maybe we should have not done this integration thing. Maybe we should have asked for something else, or maybe we should have demanded something else. Right now, when I see these racists puffing up their chest, flying their flags, coming through neighborhoods with their mask on, but then I see Black folks like, oh, heck no. See, on the news, they didn't show y'all. Them Black folks in Cincinnati came through with the blickies, okay? They came through. And I don't think it's okay or helpful for liberals to be telling folks, no, put down the arms. I don't think it's helpful for those of y'all who believe in passive resistance to say that others should not show up in other ways to resist, because I think it's privileged, and I think it's uninformed. And I want to encourage everybody to do what you feel is going to protect you. Go to the range, get your kickboxing on, get in shape, run the stairs, etc. Because at the end of the day, what's really going to be needed is courage. And for a lot of us, our courage is found through different ways. Some people's courage is found through information. Some people's courage is found through physical strength. Some people's courage is found through community. Some of us, and actually all of us, need all of that. So as we watch these folks find their courage to be hateful through disinformation, through violence, and through unity in the name of discrimination, let that be your mirror to how you can challenge that. And don't let anybody try to shame you for not doing it the way they want you to do it. I'm tired of it. It's silly and it is unhelpful. PSA. Hey, that's it for this week's Views from AmandaLand. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I feel like I was whacked this week. I don't know. I feel like maybe because I feel sick, I feel like I didn't really give y'all the levels that you're used to. And I want to apologize for that. I just don't feel good. I don't feel well. But I'm gonna feel well. I'm gonna feel better. But I just wanted to say, you know, if you felt like this week's shows was not at the level that they typically are, then I get it. I understand. Okay. What I'm gonna do next week while I'm off, every day I will come on and I will welcome y'all to the class. And I will put up a video. This sounds so ridiculously like school, but I will put up a video. At the end of that video, there will be prompts that you all can use or not to talk about in the chat. I know that this is a space that a lot of people come to because they are frustrated in their own spaces. I know that this has become a really dope community, so I don't want to sever that while I'm gone. But nonetheless, I also want to make sure that I'm continuing to fortify that. So you can look out for that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I already found the videos and I already found the prompts that I'm going to use. And I think y'all will be really impressed and inspired. Shout out to everybody who has supported today with showing love through the supers. It's, you know, we continue to work together. We continue to learn together. We continue to understand more. Please remember that these people want you to feel overwhelmed. They want you to be distracted. But the truth is, there is methodology in what they're doing. And we are going to keep paying attention and we're going to keep learning and keep understanding. Okay? That's what we're going to do. I want to remind everybody again, after we get out of here, to go to generalstrike.us and sign up. I'm sorry, generalstrikeus.com and sign up, okay? Go to generalstrike.us and sign up. Everybody have a fabulous rest of the week. And, you know, take it easy on yourself, but not too easy to where you not doing what you need to be doing to be a part of what we need to be doing. Okay? Okay. And thank you to Ernest Crim for joining us. 30 seconds of stillness. I enjoyed laughing and learning with you. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell your friends. Also, listen to the podcast. It's available everywhere pods are casted. Listen ad-free by subscribing to Patreon Amanda Seals. Come on and join the Seals Squad. Views from AmandaLand. Live 10 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Wednesday, with content on Thursday and Friday at YouTube Amanda Seals TV.
Smart, funny, and